Hello everybody, welcome back. I hope you got your pen ready and paper. Try and work out question number 21 on the 2004 Pascal. That's what I'm about to try at least. So let's take a look together. So in the diagram, the number of different paths that spell Pascal is... So I'm sensing that we can't move back and forth amongst the arrows. So we definitely sort of have to... Once we're at P, we got to either go to this A or this A. No jumping around, no jumping down to this A. And then, we do have to follow, they do say paths, right? Okay. So, this question's actually a variant on sort of something you'll see a fair bit. Good questions. They come up a lot in sort of a finite math capacity, either in high school or in university. And really what we're going to do is we're just going to sort of count the paths as we go. And those of you who are aware of something called Pascal's triangle, you'll sort of see that develop. And if you're not, I encourage you to look that up, but we're not going to dwell on it for this question. So we have, redraw our diagram here, we have P, A, we have 3 S's, and we come back to C's, then an A, and then we have 2 L's here at the end. Okay. So how many ways can we start this thing off? There's really only one way to start off the word Pascal. We got to start with a P up here. So in blue, I'm going to say the number of ways we could have gotten to this particular letter in the path. So there's only one way to start, and that's with this P. Now as for this A, how many ways can we get to this A? Suppose we were going to use this A in whatever path we're going to choose. Well, there's only one way we could have gotten to this A, and that's from this P. Okay? Same with this A over here. There's only one way to get to him. How many ways are there to get to this S? The only way to get to this S would be from this A. There's only one way to get to that A. There's only one way to get to this S. Same with this S over here. But now this S over here, we're gonna use green for just a second. This S can be gotten to in, well, it could have come from this A. There was one way to do that. So we could have done PA and then to the S. Or we could have gotten to it from this A. And there's one way to get to this A, here. And then we go down to here to get to the S. There's actually 2 ways to get to this S. And the way we work that out is it's the sum of the ways to get to the A's that lead into it. So how many ways are there to get to this C? Well, it could have either come from this S. There's only one way to do that. Or it could have come from this S. And we know there are 2 ways to do this S. So this C has 1 plus 2, 3 ways to get to it. 1, 2, 3. Same with this C. 2 plus 3. Just take the numbers above. There's 3 ways to get to that C. How many ways are there to get to this A? Well, there's 3 ways coming from this C. And 3 ways coming from this. There's 6 ways in total to get to this A. How many ways are there to get to this L? Well, this L down here can only come from this A. 6 ways there. And how many ways are there to get to this L? 6. So there's lots of different ways to do Pascal. They must all end at one of these L's. There's 6 ways to reach this L, 6 ways to reach this L. That gives me a total of 12 different ways that I can do this. Okay, and this is a nice general technique. You'll see it a lot with sort of restricted movement on a grid. So how about I show you what I mean by that? You know, there's a great series of questions. Basically, I'll boil down to how do you get from A to B in this grid? How many different ways are there? If you can only move sort of right or up. Okay? So the way you would do that is, well, there's one way to get to this point, one way to get to this point, one to get here, one to get here, 2 to get... Hey, these are sort of the same numbers. One way to get here, one way to get here, 3 to get here, 3 to get here, it's 4 to get here, 6, 4... And you would fill it out. And a lot of questions are in this sort of grid style and use this same technique. Just count the paths. Our movement is restricted. We'll never be able to sort of double back and do anything weird. So we can just very quickly count up how this works. And so that gave us an answer of 12. Is 12 amongst our answers? Gee, I hope it is. And it's staring us right in the face. It's C. Okay. So I like that question. And hopefully I'll like question number 22 just as much. We'll find out in the next video, won't we?